motility of intestine as well as gallbladder. And it also inhibits the secretion and absorption in GIT. So overall, the effect of somatostatin is inhibitory. Pancreatic polypeptide, that is secreted from PP cells of the islets of Langerhans. It is a polypeptide having 36 amino acid chain. It is secreted in response to the food ingestion as well as hyperglycemia, increased blood sugar level. Now, the action of pancreatic polypeptide is it inhibits the exocrine pancreatic secretion, right? So, it also decreases the secretion of digestive juices. Also, it slows down the absorption of food. So, inhibition of exocrine secretion as well as absorption of the food is also inhibited. Now, what is the importance of this pancreatic polypeptide? That its increased level in plasma is used as a marker for presence of tumor of islets of Langerhans. So, if patient is suffering from malignancy of pancreas, the pancreatic polypeptide level in plasma is used as a marker and it is increased. So, very useful marker to diagnose tumor in the islets of Langerhans. Now, overall blood glucose regulation, that we will see how it is maintained at a normal level. Normally, the fasting blood sugar remains from in between 80 to 90 milligram per deciliter. After meal, it reaches to 120 to 140 milligram per deciliter during the first hour. So from 80 to 90 milligram, it reaches to 120 to 140 after taking meal at the end of 1 hour, first hour. But after second hour means after 2 hours of taking meal, it comes to the normal level. How liver is useful for this, that when blood glucose level increases, insulin secretion increases, right? And 2/3 of the glucose is stored immediately into liver in the form of glycogen, that we have seen that insulin stimulates the glycogen synthesis. Now this stored glycogen gradually, as glucose concentration and insulin level decreases in between the meals, liver releases glucose in the blood. So normally day to day in between the meals, the glucose concentration is maintained with the help of glycogen which is stored in the liver. Now insulin is released by meal, that reduces blood glucose level, right? Whereas in between the meal, blood glucose level is maintained by the glucagon. Now during starvation, if you are skipping meals or you are not getting meal, so in a prolonged starvation, it is more than the no fasting between the two meals. If there is a prolonged starvation, hypoglycemia stimulates the hypothalamus, means one more hormones is required to maintain the blood sugar. That is, so in prolonged starvation, what happens? Hypoglycemia for a prolonged period of time stimulates hypothalamus, which stimulates sympathetic nervous system, and that leads to secretion of epinephrine. Now, the action of epinephrine is it also causes release of glucose from the liver. Now, in detail, you will learn it in a catecholamines when you learn catecholamines. Now, if fasting is continued more than a day or one starvation, like for days of fasting, now another hormones comes in a action. That is the growth hormone and cortisol. That is the glucocorticoids. So, over a period of days of fasting, growth hormone and corticosteroids are secreted, and how they act and how they help to maintain blood glucose level, that both decreases the utilization of glucose by most of the cells of the body. Their action is on the cells of the body. They decreases the utilization of glucose by the cells. So more and more glucose will remain in the blood circulation. Now, why this maintaining the blood glucose level in a normal range is important? That most of the tissues can shift to proteins and fat for energy in absence of glucose, but not brain cells, retina, and germinal epithelium of the gonads. So these three organs cannot utilize protein and fats for the energy. They require glucose for their functioning. So most of the glucose which is produced by gluconeogenesis in between the meals is utilized by brain. Now, if blood glucose level rises too much, if in a case as it is seen in diabetes mellitus, what will happen? Much of the glucose in blood circulation will increases the osmotic pressure in blood, that is the extracellular fluid. Now, if the extracellular fluid has more osmolarity, so what will happen? The surrounding cells, the fluid which is present in the surrounding cells will shift from intracellular to extracellular, and that will lead to cellular dehydration. Secondly, if more blood glucose is there, uh, when it comes to the limit in reabsorption of the glucose, that is normally 100% of glucose is reabsorbed in a proximal tubules in the kidneys. But if it goes more than 180 milligram of per deciliter, it is like a threshold for the, it is a renal threshold. So more than that glucose is not reabsorbed in the kidneys. So what will happen? The glucose will be lost in the urine. Now, as glucose is lost in the urine, there will be osmotic diuresis because glucose increases the osmolarity of the urine. So with that, more and more urine will also be lost in the urine. So that will lead to overall extracellular dehydration as well as intracellular dehydration. Now, along with osmotic diuresis, certain electrolytes are also lost, like sodium and potassium. So that ultimately leads to electrolyte disturbance. Another thing is there will be a damage to the blood vessels, supplying mainly to the heart, that leads to heart attack, brain that leads to stroke, retinal blood vessels are affected. That we will see in detail how the blood vessels are affected. So retinal blood vessels when affected, that leads to blindness. So it is very common that the long-term diabetic patients have a risk of having a blindness, as well as renal vessels are also damaged, and that ultimately lead to renal failure. So, maintaining blood glucose level up to the normal is very much important. Otherwise, increasing too much blood glucose level is very harmful. So, we'll continue with the same question, that what will happen if there is an increased glucose level for a longer period, and it is called diabetes mellitus. This is the applied part of the insulin. So diabetes mellitus is a syndrome of impaired carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism, that is due to lack of insulin, means insulin is not produced, or there is a decreased sensitivity of the tissues to the insulin, means insulin is there but tissues are not responding. Sensitivity is decreased. So there are two problems. Either insulin production is not there, or it is produced in a very less quantity, or tissues are not responding to the insulin because receptors are not sensitive for the insulin action. Now, diabetes mellitus are of two types. Type 1 diabetes, that is also called insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, that is IDDM. And the reason for this type of the diabetes is lack of insulin. Insulin is not produced. Another type of diabetes mellitus is a type 2 diabetes or non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. That is NIDDM. Now the cause for this is there is a decreased sensitivity of the tissues to the metabolic action of insulin. Means insulin is produced but tissues are not sensitive for the action of insulin. I will say type 1 diabetes mellitus. It is due to production of insulin. Now, common causes for the injury to the beta cells, any viral infection, that is pancreatitis, autoimmune disorders involving pancreas, or sometimes hereditary problem is there in which type 1 diabetes mellitus is developed. Onset that happens up to the 14 years of age, that is in children, that is why it is also called juvenile diabetes mellitus. So in children, the diabetes mellitus is usually of type 1 diabetes. It develops very fast with symptoms in sequence. First, there will be increased blood glucose level. Secondly, because of glucose is not there for the uh, functioning of the cell, there will be increased utilization of fat for energy and for the formation of cholesterol from the liver. So ultimately, there will be fat depletion, and utilization of fat will lead to ketosis. That is, the ketone bodies are produced because fat is utilized. And there will be depletion of body's protein because proteins are also used because there is a deficiency of insulin in which there will be catabolism of the. Now pathophysiology is first is there will be hyperglycemia, right? Because absence of insulin which is required for the uptake of glucose, there will be no uptake of glucose in the cell, there will be no utilization of glucose, so glucose will remain in circulation, and that will the level will reach to around 300 to 1200 milligram per deciliter. Now increase glucose in the circulation that will also reach to the kidneys. Now there will be glycosuria, means glucose in the urine, because there is a loss of glucose in urine when it reaches to 180 milligram per deciliter, a renal threshold. So 180 milligram is per deciliter is a renal threshold for the absorption of the glucose. Now, if glucose level increases more than 180 milligram, the filtered glucose is not reabsorbed. So it will appear in the urine. It will be lost in the urine. That terminology is called glycosuria. Now, as glucose is more in blood, as I explained earlier, osmotic pressure will increase in extracellular fluid. So that will lead to cellular dehydration because cell will lose the fluid from intracellular to because of shifting of fluid from intracellular to extracellular because of osmosis. And also there will be diuresis because more glucose is lost. So again osmosis in which water will be lost in the urine. So there will be overall dehydration, intracellular as well as extracellular. Now whenever there is a intracellular and extracellular dehydration, osmotic centers and thirst centers will be stimulated. So that will lead a person to ingest more and more water, and as well as there will be polyuria. Polyuria, so, sorry, I have written here. Here should be polydipsia. So person will drink more and more fluid, as well as there will be polyuria, means more and more urine will be patient will be going more for more and more urination. That is called polyuria. Here is my mistake. I am sorry. Okay, so here there is a polydipsia, means person will drink more and more water as well as will go for urination very frequently. That is called polyuria. Now, increased glucose in the blood, there happens glycosylation of the proteins of uh, proteins which are present in the body. Now, what is glycosylation? Is it is a non-enzymatic addition of sugar residues to the amino acids of the proteins. Now, these proteins can be of blood vessels, proteins of the nerves, organs. Each and every proteins of the body, means all the organs of the body will be affected. So non-enzymatic, that doesn't require any enzyme. There will be addition of the most common is a HB1AC. Now that is the condensation of glucose with N terminal of valine of the beta chain of hemoglobin A. Now HbA, that is hemoglobin A, that is the adult hemoglobin. So there will be addition of glucose in the beta chain of the adult hemoglobin, that is called HbA1. Now HbA1c is considered to be an indicator of blood glucose concentration over a period of around 3 months. तो 3 महीने का जो ऑन एन एवरेज ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल कितना मेंटेन हुआ है वो इंडिकेट करता है. So normally it should be 3 to 5%. So this HbA1c is it is one of the investigations for to find out the how much blood sugar is controlled in diabetic patient. If it is more than 6%, it is said that it is poorly controlled. Another is there is a tissue injury due to chronic high glucose level. As I said, that is due to glycosylation of proteins which are present in each and every tissues. Now, proteins of endothelium and vascular smooth muscle cells. So, glycosylation of these proteins of the blood vessels wall, that will lead to damage to the blood vessels as well as hardening and narrowing of the blood vessels. It leads to as well as autonomic nervous system dysfunction also occurs. The autonomic nerve is also affected because of glycosylation. Another, there is a abnormality in the lipid metabolism, and that leads to atherosclerosis because excess of fat is utilized. So excess of cholesterol is lipids are produced, and that ultimately leads to atherosclerosis. Now atherosclerosis is a deposition